Hi, Joe Bush here to talk to you today about this iPhone 6 that I have here. It's seen better days, honestly. It's got a cracked screen, the battery is inflated, which has been separating and pushing the screen up to essentially make it almost unusable. Still, functionally, it still operates. The screen's a little about ready to give up, but today we're going to show you how to replace the screen assembly as well as also replace the battery assembly and the specific steps involved to renew your iPhone 6. And this is especially important since this phone is going to get support for iOS 13. And so what better way to save some money than to repair your old iPhone? All right, let's get started. All right, the first thing to do is get the parts you need. You can get this screen replacement kit off of Amazon for roughly $30 or $40, and it comes with all the tools required to get the job done. You've got your screen replacement, some screwdrivers, as well as some pry tools, suction cup, and some guitar picks, and I'll show you how to use those. Here's the new screen right here. You can see it comes with the glass, the digitizer, and the home button as well. Always remove the SIM card tray first, just in case you run into any issues. You don't want this to get in the way. Next is take the pentalobe screwdriver you got in the kit and remove the 2 screws near the bottom of the charger so you can lift the screen off of the frame. Then use the suction cup to press against the glass and then gently pull up while holding the frame to get it to separate from the frame. This is where the guitar pick comes in. Be sure to pull up from the bottom, as the top portion has the little connector ribbons that you want to make sure you don't want to break the connections on. To get to the connectors, you have to take these tiny Phillips screws out of here over the plate. Now, there's about 4 of them, I believe, that once you take them off, then you gain access to the connectors underneath. Now, using the plastic pry tool you got, you can separate these little connections one by one. They're a little bit layered, so you have to remove one to get to the other. And once they're all separated from the connection point, then you can lift the screen off and set it aside. Next, we gain access to the battery. And using Amazon as well, you can buy this battery kit for about $20. And it also comes with everything you need. So you get some duplicates of some of the tools that you got. But essentially, you get the battery, you get some sticky strips to hold the battery in place in the phone right here. And then also the same screwdrivers and pry tools you needed to get down to this point. So if you want to do just a battery replacement, you could without screen repair. Now that we have access to the battery, as you see here, there's 2 little pull tabs to where you can use this to take the adhesives out from under the old battery. And if you're lucky and have good form, you can have a very satisfying fluid motion of pulling the adhesive out from underneath it. All right, now we'll do the same procedure on the other side, where you can see if we can do the same thing. Well, so much for that. That's okay. What I've done is I've pried up the battery gently. I severed the battery cable. That's okay. Now we can get to the rest of the adhesive and pull the rest of it out, and then the battery will fall out. Now to get to the battery cable connector, we go underneath this plate here with 2 screws. Same like before on the screen. Once we remove the screws, we can then use the plastic pry tool to then disconnect the connector. And we take the new adhesive strips we got in the new battery package. Just gently place it down in the same fashion that they were going in, so you can have the pull tab access if you need to get back inside the phone. And then have it ready for the battery to go in. And notice how thin the battery cable is. You want to be very careful not to tear it. It's like a piece of paper. So my suggestion is to plug it in first and then set it down into the adhesive to where it lies as flat and straight as you can to avoid tearing. Then reverse procedure, plate goes back on. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that since this is an aftermarket screen, we do have to transfer the home button over to the new screen because it's mapped to the phone. To do that, it's very simple. There's just a plate with 1 or 2 screws covering the home button. In this case, it is missing one on the old screen. Now we take the plate off, and then just like other connectors on the phone system, you can pop it off with a plastic pry tool right here. And we don't need this one. Now here's the original home button. We place it back into the new screen. Make sure it snaps on the connector before you place the holding plate back on. Screw it back in. All right, now we're ready to go in with the screen. Now we need to place the connectors of the new screen into the frame. Reverse procedure, 1 by 1. The holding plate goes back over the connectors. Make sure they all snapped in before you do this. Don't over tighten the screws when you go back in, just to prevent stripping of the tiny screws. They're very fragile. Now we're ready to place the screen back in. There's a little hook at the top that you need to go in first. Once that catches, you place the screen down inside the frame. You should hear a little click all around all the edges to know that it's fully in place. All right, and the 2 outside pentaload screws go back, holding the new screen in place. And we are ready to turn this on. After we put the old SIM card tray in, of course. Can't forget that. Otherwise, how's it going to work, right? And here we go. We have life. We will let this boot up and make sure everything works. Now that we're fully booted up, we can unlock the phone using the Touch ID, which still is operational. Looks like the screen is responsive. All the LCD portions of it are working good. And now you have a brand new refreshed iPhone 6. All of this for about $60 in parts, and just about a half hour to an hour in labor. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'd really like it if you subscribed so I can give you more content like this. And remember, this is definitely not a tech show. Thank you.